But talk a little about what's involved in negotiating, once you've identified a property that you like and that the buyer likes, and what are some of the key tips and things around that?
I would say, first and foremost, just know your market and know the property. Know, is this competitive? Is this going to be the type of thing like, hey, we've got to jump on this and we can't try to beat them up too bad because they're going to have 3 other potential buyers right behind us. So just kind of knowing how aggressive you can be. Has it been sitting on the market for a while? One that I'm dealing with now was a weird kind of, it's for sale, but it's got a tenant in place, but the tenant only has 2 years left on their lease. So it's not really a good play for an investor because they only have a 2 years left on the term, but it's not really great for an owner occupant because they have a tenant in there for the next 2 years. So you're not gonna be able to occupy it for the next 2 years. So we kind of get creative and factor in like, all right, well, let's talk to the tenant. Can we terminate that lease early? That type deal. Kind of knowing what you're up against, it's kind of first and foremost. And then having those relationships. A lot of agents, I can talk to them and say, hey, man, shoot me straight. Where are we at? Why is the landlord seller? Why is the owner selling this? How aggressive can we be? Is this? So in some cases, the owner's like, nope, I don't want to hear anything other than the number I put out there. And a lot, your broker might shoot you straight and say, hey, here's what we're dealing with. Either it's worth it or it's not. And then knowing kind of what you have to put into it as well. Which a lot of that comes up in due diligence. But, you put something under contract, make sure you feel comfortable that the number's right. If you get in there and you're like, oh, actually, it needs a new roof and 3 of the HVAC units need to be replaced and,
right.
Some structural issues, then you have to circle back and renegotiate and say, all right, we didn't factor all this in because we didn't know about it. So that's a big thing, too, is knowing how much money is going to have to go into a property before you actually get to that closing.
Yeah, so you're still negotiating the whole process. I mean, all the way until the ink is dry on the closing documents, right? I mean, there's still, you never know, last minute, the process, there might be some give and take. And you need that third party, from my perspective, you need that third party, unemotional representative to get in there and who can talk shop and like you said, has the relationships and knows the deal and can represent you.
Yeah. And like you said, it is a lot different. Professional, not that residential agents aren't professional, but in a lot of cases, the clientele, it's buying a house is a very emotional process. That's where you're going to spend all of your time, right? You're going to be there every day. And so you can kind of get in, you hear a lot of those stories about they're arguing about, I want a garage. Well, I want a front porch. Well, we want you to leave the refrigerator. Well, we want to take the refrigerator. Some of that stuff that can really muddy the waters on a negotiation. Typically on a commercial side, it's a lot more systematic and less emotional versus do the numbers make sense? Does this work for my business or does this work as my investment? And then, you usually don't have to beat each other up too much. We're going to get to a point where, all right, it works for everybody. Okay, then our job is done.